Hey bitches, welcome to my channel. My name is Willow, and today I'm going to be playing one of my favorite games called Who's the Asshole? I think it's common knowledge at this point in time that people in the world suck, and the world is just full of people who are terrible. And one of my favorite things about growing up in the age of the internet is the fact that now we can post and call people out for their stupidity, for our own amusement and enjoyment, and I honestly love it. I love nothing more than reading a good story about a stupid person and silently seething to myself about how stupid people can possibly be. Today I'm going to be reading some scenarios from Reddit's Am I the Asshole? And giving my opinion on who is or is not the asshole. I don't have a specific theme for these stories today. I'm just going to be reading them and voicing my opinion. This is the crystal ball of assholery, and it will help us today to determine who's the asshole. Let's get started, shall we? The first story says, am I the asshole for leaving a wedding to eat at McDonald's? Right off the bat, the title doesn't make it sound wonderful, but let's keep reading. Hi, I'm a 25-year-old female. Recently, my colleague, 31-year-old female, invited me to her wedding, which happened yesterday. I was super excited and happy for her. Just in case, I asked her if there was any guest fees. She said, no, you don't need to pay me anything. On the day itself, everything went well until the reception, dinner time. To my shock, I was presented with a wedding menu that had prices on it. For example, steak, $50. Everything was ridiculously expensive, including the vegetarian options. At first I wanted to question her because, well, she lied to me that I didn't have to pay for anything, but it was her wedding and I didn't want to spoil her day by embarrassing her in front of everyone. However, the only other option was to simply not eat, as I didn't bring enough money for both a meal and a ride back. But this was completely unfavorable, as I'd skipped my lunch to save space for the wedding meal and was pretty hungry. Suddenly I remembered that I saw McDonald's about 5 minutes away from the hotel. As tactfully as I could, I asked the bride if I could make a quick stop to McDonald's as I didn't bring enough money for the reception meal. I said that I'd be back in time for the gift ceremony and cake. I thought she'd agree, but to my horror, she got real upset. She said that she put so much effort to get this Michelin star restaurant service, yet I still wasn't happy. That I was trying to bring her down by saying I'd rather eat at McDonald's. Alarmed, I said I didn't mean it that way, I just didn't have the cash for it. She then scoffed, saying, whose fault is that? Although I was trying to keep in my anger, those words really pissed me off, so I told her, you were the one who lied that said I didn't need to pay anything. Getting angry as well, she replied, what I meant was there's no attendance fee. You literally assumed that you get a free 5-course dinner. Wow, you're cheaper than I thought. With a glare, she asked me to leave her wedding. I did, struck dumb and rather hurt. Right? Stupid, or is it dumb struck? Or does it matter? Is it just interchangeable? Struck dumb, dumb struck? Who cares? Who knows? And on my way home, I grabbed a Big Mac, lol. Back at home, I told my boyfriend everything and asked if I was an asshole. He thought it was a funny story, but said I was an asshole. If I didn't have the money, I could always pay her back later. In his exact words, he said, you chose the wrong time to be stingy. My other friends agree as well, saying that it was not tactful of me for doing that at the wedding, and although she lied, I should have just brushed it off instead of dampening her happy spirits. After hearing their opinions, I feel quite guilty and embarrassed. However, that one little part of me still thinks that it's justified because 1, she lied to me, and 2, publicly humiliated me. Please help me out. Am I the asshole? Let's consult the crystal ball of assholery, shall we? Not the asshole? I don't think. I think that this is a tricky situation, and this is mostly just lack of communication on both of their parts. Not gonna lie, if someone told me I didn't need to bring anything money-wise, I would assume that that meant everything was covered. So I do think it was an error on the bride's part in saying you don't need to pay anything. And I do feel like the person who wrote this did try to be polite about it. I feel like they didn't go about their actions with bad intentions. I think it was just I do believe it was a genuine accident in them just misunderstanding what the bride meant, a lack of clarification. I don't necessarily think it was wrong for them to try and slip off to McDonald's because, as they said, the other option would have had to have either been like borrowing the money and paying them back later, which I feel like probably could have just upset the bride even more, and it could have warranted the same comments about like not being prepared and being stingy, or just not eaten, which obviously also probably would have left them in a very unfavorable mood to be at a wedding. So I don't feel like it was that rude to just ask if they could discreetly run to McDonald's to get some food real quick. I feel like just to avoid conflict, I would have just let them go to McDonald's wouldn't have been that big of an issue to me. I can kind of understand from the bride's standpoint. It seems like, well, I went through all this trouble to get this caterer there. But I also feel like you could have clarified that the food was, you know, expensive. And I feel like people just left things up to like assuming that the other person just knew. And I feel like just lack of clarification is a huge error here. And you know what? I hope you enjoyed that Big Mac. Moving on, am I the asshole for refusing to drive my son's friend because he kept farting in my car? I love the fact that you read this and you immediately assume the son either has to be 5 or 15 because boys of both of those ages pull shit like this. The other day I was driving my son, 14-year-old male, there we go, and his friend who lives nearby to soccer practice. They usually take the bus, but sometimes I'll drive them before work. As I was driving, I heard a loud fart coming from my son's friend, followed by laughter from both of them. Apparently he's doing it at least partly on purpose because they have a dumb farting joke they think is funny. He even pulled his leg up before he farted to demonstrate that he was doing it on purpose. I told them point blank this was not funny at all and asked my son's friend to not do that again in my car. A few minutes later he farted again and busted out laughing. My son had a smirk on his face but was trying to hold back his laughter because he knows I asked him not to. At this point I pulled over to the nearest bus stop. We live in Europe so we have great public transport, and told my son's friend he'll have to travel the rest of the distance by bus. Later my son told me he was embarrassed in front of his friend and thinks I treated him a bit too harshly. Apparently the kid was also late for soccer practice and the coach scolded him. So, am I the asshole here? Let's consult the crystal ball of assholery. Not the asshole. I feel like it's kind of common courtesy that when you're being transported by somebody else that you follow the rules that they have in their vehicle when they're transporting you. And I feel like 14 is definitely too old to just be expected to not have consequences for actively breaking the rules in someone else's vehicle. As the father said here, he didn't just leave him in some sketchy like building on the side of the road. He left them on the bus that they've apparently taken multiple times before to soccer practice. And I think that's okay. If they live in a place where it's safe, he's done it multiple times before, I think that's fine. I think sometimes actions need to have consequences, especially when you're 14 years old and you're still farting in your friend's father's car. Let's move on to the next one. Am I the asshole for not letting my son wear an eye patch? My son is 14 years old and about a month ago unfortunately was in an accident that left him permanently blind in his left eye. Otherwise, he's uninjured. I can't imagine how he feels about it. Losing a part of you like that and being unable to do the sports he loved playing anymore. While it was healing, the doctors had him cover it up to help the process. Now that the medical stuff is off, he told me he wanted to wear an eye patch to cover it up. I told him I didn't want him to feel the need to be self-conscious about it and that he should just accept himself. We ended the conversation there for the time being. The topic came back up again after another week of him being in school. He told me he was tired of the other kids looking at him and asking him about it. I told him that probably wouldn't go away with an eye patch and they'd probably warrant even more questions from people. He got mad at me for not letting him do it and said that I was crazy not just going with it. I think it's best if he just keeps it as it is. Am I the asshole? You're the asshole. Unlike some scenarios, however, this was well-intentioned. I can understand where the parent is coming from here, and I can understand not wanting your son to feel like they have to be ashamed of themselves for something that they can't control. However, I know what it was like to be 14 years old, and I know what it was like to have to deal with other people in high school, and I know how judgmental and how cruel people and frankly the world can be. And so wearing an eye patch helps this kid feel more comfortable going to school. He should be allowed to wear it, and I don't think the parent should have the right to say, you shouldn't wear this, you should just love yourself, because it's not that easy. I feel like his appearance is something that he should come to accept on his own, and it's not something he's going to come to love just because somebody refuses to let him cover it up with an eye patch. Eventually when he's out of high school and such, or even in a few months, he could get to the point where he feels comfortable taking off the eye patch and not having it there, and that's okay. But I feel like he's 14 years old and he should mostly have the right to choose what he does with his anatomy if it makes him feel more comfortable. If he feels more comfortable wearing an eye patch, it's a fucking piece of fabric or something over his eye. It's not that deep, and I think he should just be allowed to wear it. I don't think it's right for the mother to say you should just be comfortable with it, because the mother's not the one who's experiencing it. I feel like a lot of people just put this pressure on like high schoolers especially to just feel like they have to accept everything thrown at them. But a lot of adults do things to mask their insecurities. It's just different because they're older. Like a lot of older people in their 40s and 50s will dye their hair to cover up their graying roots. maybe you should just accept your roots, Becky. A lot of people wear makeup to like conceal their dark circles in their skin as they age. Maybe you should just feel comfortable with your saggy skin, Linda. Like, I feel like a lot of people in this world are constantly doing little things to help them feel more comfortable with their identities, and I don't think it's right for somebody else to say you shouldn't do that, because we all have insecurities, and if we can feel a little bit better about ourselves, we should be allowed to do it. So you are the asshole, but lucky for you there is a chance for redemption. I do think you were well-intentioned. It just didn't come across as great as it should have. This one, the title, I think, is all we need to know to answer this question. Am I the asshole for telling my girlfriend that she looked good with her breast implants that she got rid of and making her feel insecure? I don't even need to read the story, do I? We can just consult the crystal ball already, yeah. You're the asshole, look at that. Am I the asshole for making my girlfriend feel insecure? No, you're lovely. Thank you for asking that. He's a 24-year-old male, his girlfriend's a 32-year-old female. Are planning a vacation together, so she was showing me some photos of a trip she took to Maldives a few years ago because she was telling me it was lovely and would love to go back again. At the time, she had breast implants that looked nice on her. She had her breast surgery when she was around 20 and later took them out because she had a boyfriend who didn't like them. In one of the photos she was wearing a bikini, so I told her that she looked very hot then. She looked upset later at dinner, and when I asked her what was going on, she said I made her feel insecure and like she's not desirable now. I said sorry, but also told her that's not what I meant at all. She knows I like big breasts, so I just said she was looking good with them, not that she's not hot now. However, she then told me I'm accusing her of twisting my words and now she won't speak to me. Am I the asshole then? Yes. This poor girl, this poor girl, she had them removed because someone didn't like them, and now her boyfriend's now is being like, well, I liked him. I feel like this poor girl just can't catch a break with these terrible men. I feel like even if he felt the need to comment on her past body, I feel like he could have gone about it better, except no, he shouldn't have even felt the need to comment on her past body or her past breasts. And even if she didn't have her breast implants like surgically removed or whatever, she was 20 in those photos and you said she's 34 now. That's over 10 years of difference. Her body is naturally going to change anyways, and I feel like it's not fair to compare her in any way, shape, or form to herself from 20 years ago. And then to stop and say, oh, you know I like big breasts. Well, guess what, honey? There are a lot of big-breasted fish in the sea, and I suggest you go fishing for one because you don't deserve her. Like, if the two of you were having a conversation about her breast implants and she's like, oh, haha, I had these implants, I thought they looked good, but I just got, you know, tired of them or whatever, I feel like then it would be okay. Like, if it was a type of relationship where that kind of thing was okay, I feel like it'd then be okay for him to be like, oh yeah, you looked really nice then, but I love you now. I feel like there could be an appropriate way to discuss it, but that wasn't it. And he still sounds like a teenage boy when he talks about women. That's disgusting. You're the asshole, let's move on. Am I the asshole for calling my mom mean and throwing away her food? Yesterday, my mom picked up my siblings and I from school. On the way home, she asked if we wanted pizza, and of course we said yes, because who doesn't want pizza? When we got home, our older brother was there. We didn't know he was coming over. He was cooking dinner. Our dad was upset that we got pizza. Mom said that we wanted it, and I was upset. She blamed us. I said we only said that because she offered and she didn't tell us our brother was cooking. She said the pizza was hot and ready, so we should just eat it because what my brother was making wasn't even done. Our dad said he told her the dinner plans and they started bickering. I took the pizza and threw it in the bins outside. My mom yelled at me for wasting food and money and said she was hungry. I said I didn't care that she was hungry because she's a mean person, so maybe being hungry for a bit will be good for her. She left and didn't come back until after dinner. My mom isn't talking to me. Even my dad and brother said that calling someone a mean person and saying hunger would be good for them isn't okay. I know what I did isn't nice, but I feel like she tricked me to use my younger siblings and I as a fuck you to our brother, and that made me so angry. Am I the asshole? No, not at all. I think they're a bit dramatic for getting that worked up over her calling the mom a mean person. I feel like there are so many worse things that could have been said about the mother, and that kind of shit is so irritating. The mom playing it up to be them wanting pizza when she wanted it for herself, and like using her children as an excuse to get what she wants and then blaming them when someone else is upset is so fucked up and so disgusting. And the mom is honestly the biggest asshole here. I want to know what this vendetta against the brother is, that the mom was like, okay, fuck you, I want to get pizza instead. Like, I just want to know what the issue at hand with the brother was that warranted this kind of behavior, and why she was using her other kids to seem like they were the ones to blame. Obviously, they're not telling the mom to go like starve themselves and die in a hole. They're saying, you can be hungry for a little bit because you tricked me with this fucking pizza, so now you can wait for our brother to finish cooking his food and we'll eat it. You can stop being a little bitch and getting all pouty and blaming your kids for your problems. Thank you. You're the ass. No, you're not the asshole. Your mother's the asshole. Thank you. Am I the asshole for changing a student's clothes? I've run a home daycare for 10 years now. 2 months ago, I had a new client, Cindy, enroll her daughter, Brienne, aged 1.5 years old. Cindy always dresses Brienne in darling dresses, tights, dress shoes, etc. Often, they're designer. When Brienne started, I explained she's going to get dirty here. I use smocks for art and bibs for children her age at meals, but sometimes things slip through. Plus, we go outside and there's dirt, sand, etc. I said they could dress however they want, but she'll get dirty. I think Cindy underestimated how dirty Brienne would get. On the third day, we were doing an activity with paint. Brienne was wearing a smock, but she still somehow managed to get it on her dress. Cindy had a freak out. I explained she needed to send her in clothes she felt comfortable getting dirty. She told me it was my job to figure it out. Brienne has trouble playing outside because of her shoes. I explained this to Cindy and she told me that she'd be fine, yet it was an issue when the shoes got dirty. I have a very supportive community and get lots of donations throughout the year of extra diaper supplies, toys, clothes, and shoes. I often give these out to my clients who are on assistance, or I'll keep them in case a child runs out of something. What I began doing on Monday was changing Brienne into proper play clothes, long sleeve t-shirt, leggings, etc. Towards the end of the day, I changed her back. I didn't tell Cindy what I was doing, but I didn't see the big deal because Brienne's fancy clothes went home clean. Every Friday, I upload pictures from the week onto a private app for parents to look at so they can see what we do. I did this during nap time today. 15 minutes later, I get a call from Cindy. She's furious that Brienne is wearing those clothes and asks why she isn't in her dresses. I explained what was going on. She said I had no right to change her daughter's outfit without her consent and that she can dress however she wants. I informed her that this was how we would do things unless she was going to dress Brienne in proper attire. Cindy's husband picked up today and assured me he is on my side. He thinks his wife will get over it. I was telling my own husband about it and he told me I was wrong because it's her kid and she has a say in what she wears. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. I believe the mom literally said it's your job to figure it out, and the daycare worker figured it out, and the mom just didn't like that. I will never understand parents who are so desperate to have their children like be little perfect looking dolls that they won't let them do anything ever. And yes, the mother has a right to dress their child in designer clothes. If they have a lot of money and they want their child to be dressed in designer, by all means, dress your child in designer. But children naturally get dirty. They're dirty little creatures, in case you've never interacted with one. It's not always their fault. They're still learning how to do things, but they want to play, they want to eat, they want to do things. They're messy little creatures. So you can't be shocked then when an expensive designer outfit gets dirty. And obviously this daycare worker tried to provide other options. They said, your kid's not able to play very well in these shoes. Your kid's outfit's gonna get dirty, despite my best abilities to keep them clean. And the mom said, your job to figure it out. So the parent figured it out. The clothes stayed clean. The kid was able to play and the mom was still displeased. You should kick the little kid out of daycare and they can find a more prestige place to go where they can wear their designer dresses and not get messy. I guess they'll just keep the children in little glass cases and not allow them to move because children will get dirty no matter what they do. This one says, am I the asshole for tricking my partner into eating a vegan meal? So here's the deal. I, male 43, have been vegan for about a year now, and my husband, male 48, is a meat and potatoes kind of person. He loves his steak and bacon and generally isn't too interested in trying vegan options. However, I've been trying to get him to at least consider eating more plant-based meal for the sake of his health. I get worried for him sometimes because he's very fat and his BMI is also quite high. I've been trying to cook healthy meals for him, encouraging him to exercise and getting creative with the dishes I make, but my partner just doesn't seem interested. That's why last Saturday night I decided to take matters into my own hands. I made a delicious vegan lasagna for dinner, not mentioning to my partner that it was completely plant-based. To my surprise, my partner loved the lasagna and even asked for seconds. It wasn't until after dinner that I let slip that the dish was vegan and my partner was less than pleased. I defended my decision by telling him that I've been worried for their health and I want them to get skinnier and be better, but my partner said it was very immature of me and I could have talked to him directly. Am I the asshole? Let's consult the crystal ball. I'm gonna go with what the Reddit said and categorize this one under, which is that everybody sucks. I have conflicting feelings about this. I think ultimately it's up to everybody to decide what they put in their bodies, whether that be super healthy or not. And dictating what other people eat is a definite no-no in my opinion, because I feel like everyone has a right to choose what they put in their bodies, whether it be good or whether it be bad. I don't necessarily think it's wrong for this person to be concerned about their partner and want them to eat a little healthier for the sake of their health, but some of the phrasing makes it seem like it's not 100% about their health and that it's also a little bit about their looks, with the little comments about like getting thinner and how he's fat. I mean, fat in itself isn't an insult, no, but I feel like it was definitely used in a more demeaning way in this, and so I feel like they might be a little unhappy that their partner is a little chunky, and I feel like they want to eliminate that. I don't think there's anything wrong with being concerned about their health and wanting them to eat a little bit of healthier food, but I also do agree that it's not really nice to trick people into eating food that they're not aware of what's in it. I know this food obviously did not harm the person in any way, shape, or form. It wasn't like something wrong to eat, but I still don't like deception and dishonesty in that sense, and I think food is never something that should be toyed with. You should always be able to be honest about what you're serving somebody, and I do think it is also as grown adults, I feel like it is their responsibility to choose what they're all putting in their own bodies. Obviously, this is not like a 6-year-old kid who needs some guidelines enforced by their parents to know what's good for them and what's bad for them. They're 2 grown adults, so I feel like they both have a right to choose what they put in their own respective bodies. I also don't think he should have freaked out that much about it, because the partner had good intentions and the whole situation is just kind of tricky, and honestly this is one of those situations where I think you shouldn't be together if you can't come to an agreement about this. Partner 1 obviously has issues with partner 2 being fat and not eating, and if they just can't come to mutual agreements about things like this, I feel like maybe your relationship isn't working and it should be ended, and I feel like there's some deeper rooted issues in the food that's being put on your guys' plates that need to be dealt with amongst yourselves. I think everyone sucks, and I don't think there's necessarily a right or a wrong here. Communication is key, and I feel like you need a whole lot more of that to continue. We are going to stick with one more for this video, and this is, am I the asshole I canceled babysitting to go watch a movie? I, male, 21, told my sister, female, 26, that I'd babysit her baby daughter for her best friend's wedding. I told her I'd be able to, and that was fine. Anyways, the weekend of the wedding came around and my mates asked me if I wanted to go watch Ant-Man the same day I was supposed to babysit. I told them yes and told my sister I'd no longer be able to babysit on the day. She got mad and said that if I'd agreed to something I should have stuck by it. Now she has no one to babysit while she goes to the wedding. I told her that it's normal for people to change their minds and that she shouldn't be mad at me when I was doing her a favor in the first place. It was nice of me to even offer, and she should be grateful no matter what. She refuses to talk to me, and it's been 2 weeks since we last spoke. She says that was low of me. I think the fact that I even offered in the first place was nice enough. She can't blame me for my plans changing. Am I the asshole? Yes, 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 yes. Yes, 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 yes. 1,000 times yes. There is no scenario where there's no excuse as to how you could possibly be in the right in this situation. The audacity of some people, I swear, this truly baffles me, and I can't understand how people like this truly exist. The fact that you offered is just nice enough. Like, imagine if someone needed my kidney in the hospital and I was like, oh yeah, you can have my kidney, and then I was like, then they were getting ready for surgery. I'm like, you know what, never mind, you can't have my kidney. And then they didn't have a kidney to give. But I'm like, but I offered you my kidney. Offering is enough, right? Like, I offered my kidney. This person obviously agreed to do this weeks before and backed off because they wanted to go see a movie that will be there the next day and probably be in theaters for weeks and will eventually be buyable on DVD. Like, what? And not only like a couple days before, like literally the day of, suddenly like, hey, guess what? I'm not gonna watch your baby anymore. So now the person has to suddenly try and find other plans because one entitled douchebag of a guy thinks that offering was enough and that they can change their plans. Why did they offer to babysit in the first place then? Just to boost themselves up a little? I don't understand. The sheer entitlement here to just say, I offered. Offering is not enough if you don't go through with your offering. Good God. Imagine like if this dude has a job and he's like, well, I got hired here, that's enough, isn't it? No, you have to show up to work, but I got hired here, that's enough. I offered to work, that's enough, right? That is enough for that video. I will now be seething for an hour thinking about how stupid men are, and that is that. Just kill me. I've heard enough. That is going to be all for this video, and I will see you guys in my next. Peace out.